This is me, Renee. The way I go by with life isn't the same as everyone else, simply because even though I still live with my family, I lead my own life. It wasn't always like this, not until everyone grew up and went their separate ways. I'm not the only child in the family. I have an older sister and an older brother, and we were brought up by two very loving parents. But I was brought up differently as compared to my siblings because of our age gap. Me and my sister have a 16 years age gap, and me and my brother have a 13-year age gap. And the way I live since young hasn't changed until now, which is living a solitary life that is similar to an only child despite being surrounded by my family members. I'm an architecture student, so I'm always coming home late. I would have to look for my own food because my brother would have eaten dinner with his colleagues, and my parents are usually fast asleep by the time I get home. Unlike my siblings who grew up moving from one rural area to another, I spent 18 years of my life living in a city. This is because by 1997, my dad's company had already launched and settled down, so they would be busy with work and I would be at a babysitter's place. It didn't bug me at all because it shows that my parents managed to set up their own construction business despite not having very high education. Despite doing most things by myself, we used to visit the hometowns of both my parents, and we would do it in an alternate manner. So one year, we would visit Kota Baru, and the next year, we would visit Alostar. My parents do this because they want me to get to know my roots, but even so, it's complicated with my family tree. Let me explain why. My dad grew up with two elder brothers, one elder sister, and two younger brothers. They were brought up by my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandfather's father was a soldier from Holland, and my grandfather's mother was a nurse from Japan. They were posted back when World War II ended, thus giving my grandfather away to the Teoh family, which happens to be Rampatapis. My grandmother's family, on the other hand, were from China, and they were in the sawmill business. My mom had four elder brothers and four elder sisters, but one of her sister and one of her brother were given away to my grandmother's brother because their family cannot conceive. My grandfather's father was from China and my grandfather's mother was from Thailand. They often communicate in Thai at home and they were food sellers. On the other hand, my grandmother's father was from China and my grandmother's mother was from Taiwan. My grandfather owned a bookstore, so my mom's family was pretty well off. My family is still expanding until today. In 2004, my sister got married. In 2008, we welcomed Chloe to the family, and just last month, Chase joined the family too. So this is me throughout the years. We don't follow much tradition or family ethics because we come from a complicated background, and also both my siblings went to Australia to further their studies when I was young, so we didn't do much as a family. We somewhat set a tradition to fly to Australia at least once a year to visit my sister and my family, but even so, we won't go together because, again, timing. I didn't have specific fashion throughout the years, but as you can see, I had weird hair phases with weird highlights, and I had my braces on and things like that. But that's part of my life, and I grew up, and I'm here now. Maybe it wasn't the most desirable life, but I can't change my past, and I will build my future, so hopefully by next year, I will be pursuing my degree in Melbourne U, and then eventually graduating, and maybe even my master's. Then I would like to join an architecture firm in Australia, and by 2021, I would want to get married and have a son, and the following year maybe have a daughter. Eventually, I want to open my own firm and design my own house, then perhaps move in one day with my family. I would also want to open a cafe that I design one day.